We're going to talk about the deceleration fuel cut. So for those who aren't aware, what happens on pretty much all standard bikes is when you shut the throttle, so when the bike's decelerating, it actually cuts quite a bit of fuel to the engine via the injectors and the ECU map. So the reason that that happens is to reduce emissions and also for fuel economy. So the bike simply won't use as much fuel because it's not having to fuel the motor on the deceleration. What that does mean though, is when you come back to the throttle, it can sometimes be a little bit abrupt and a little bit jerky because the engine's running lean. And it also increases the amount of engine brake because when you're shutting the throttle, the motor's not being fueled properly, so it wants to slow down more and it will slow the bike down more via engine braking. The fuel deceleration cut is that it will definitely use more fuel, so that the secondary air or the system, the pair system, which takes fresh air from the airbox, what it does, it takes fresh air from the airbox and puts it into the exhaust system. That fresh air will, if in standard trim, it doesn't make it pop and carry on too much because you've got a standard exhaust and a cat and all that sort of stuff. But they do that to clean up the emissions. If you then go and disable the fuel deceleration cut, what happens is the exhaust is hot when the engine's running. The bike is now on deceleration, keeping the engine fueled. So when it does that in that state, what happens, because the throttle's shut and as the RPMs drop, there's a bit of overfuel because the engine's overrunning. So there's a little bit, unburnt fuel into your exhaust pipe. And if you don't have a cat, and if you've got a system like this, this one's a full Akrapovic system, fuel's going into the exhaust a little bit, and you've still got the secondary air or pair system, you haven't blocked it, and it's adding fresh air, it ignites the fuel. Hot exhaust, fuel, and air means fire, bang, and that's why you get the deceleration popping, when the bikes are popping on decel a lot. And then also when you shut the throttle, when the exhaust blows flames. Now, it looks cool when the exhaust is blowing awesome big flames, and it's kind of fun, for the first 5 or 10 minutes about the deceleration popping. But over time, it will annoy you, or maybe it won't, depending on your disposition. But if you do not block the secondary air and you disable the fuel cut, it will pop and carry on extensively. If that's what you're after, that's great, but just be aware of that.